Heir of Carthage back with a Egypt versus Macedon online battle. This is actually against the same opponent that you saw playing as Parthia against me with Carthage. And it is a rainy day on Total War Rome 2. I've actually brought a variant of the army that I used against Indy Pride in the tournament, and I'm not going to say anything more about it other than that because I want to upload those battles as well. And in any case, this is a variant of that army, and actually I guess by the time you all see this I will have uploaded it. Obviously in the battle against Indy Pride I used Hellenic Royal Guard rather than the Galatian Royal Guard, and I really wish I would have used the Galatian Royal Guard. I think I would have done better in the end. But hey, history's history. Indy Pride outplayed me. He won those. So I'm not going to sit here and whine and complain and try and make it sound like the only reason he won was because I made a bad army choice. It may be part of the reason he won, but that's part of the reason why he won is because he made a better army choice. And that's definitely something that he did, plus that on top of outplaying me out on the flanks. So in any case, again, not meant to take anything away from him. It was fun playing against him. I'd enjoy the opportunity in the future to do so as well. So anyway, I played against this guy, and I had used the noob box on him previous, so I guess he came up with his own somewhat defensive strategy, which involves some Greek heavy ballista, which are out here. What in the world they're doing out here, I have no idea. Maybe there's just a mistake on my opponent's part. But his heavy ballista sit here and don't do anything for the entire match. So if you're going to bring heavy artillery, don't do it on a map that has a big hill here in the center that makes it hard for you to see or shoot at your opponent. You're going to need some better open ground, like a map like Migdol or something, in order to use heavy artillery. I do not suggest it in this case. So my opponent has brought a very defensive army, so he's brought a bunch of hoplites. He's got hoplites here, hoplites, hoplites, hoplites. And then he's got a couple of pikemen, cheap units there in the back. So he spent quite a bit of money on those heavy ballista that are now doing nothing. I see one Thessalian cav here in the woods. I'm kind of rounding around the hill to try and see what else my opponent has. And I've got a couple of my Ptolemaic cav hidden here. Oh, so my build is 4 Ptolemaic cav, 6 Galatian Royal Guard, 4 Carian Axemen, and 1 African Elephant. And you'll see the reason why I brought my build. I figure my opponent has a lot of cav somewhere. I can't see it at the moment. It's probably hidden here or maybe up here. Again, scouting around, and I'm also trying to micro around his formation. So if we take a map view here, you can see that my opponent's set up here on this hill, and I'm working my way around him, and sure enough, his cav pops out here, which is a Thessalian companion, it looks like 1 companion and 3 Thessalian cav, which means that he hasn't really spent a ton on anything that I've seen yet, which means he probably still has even more cav. I braced these guys with the shield wall. You can see, look at that, even these cheap Carian Axemen only took a few losses to the charge of that fairly tough Thessalian cav with 108 charge bonus coming down a hill. And now, all that my guys are braced, I can easily kill that Thessalian cav.
Quickly now!
Over here, he did bushwhack one of my Ptolemaic cav, but I'm going to retreat from this fight with one of my units. Ptolemaic cav is way better than his units here. Maybe not way better than the companions, but quite a bit. As far as melee attack goes. So now I'm going to countercharge him once I have him in a better position. He's down off the hill a little bit, not quite so much advantage. Countercharge his general unit here with a trample charge. Going to get a few kills there. Wasn't the best charge ever, but it was a charge. And then I'm going to come from the top of the hill with my general unit, countercharging this Thessalian cav with trample, and it's going to be devastating. So now what started out as his advantage on the cav is turning to my favor, and I kept 1 unit of Ptolemaic cav back. And it looks like it's going to come in handy, because here's what my opponent had waiting for me, 3 more Aspis cav. These guys right here, though, are still in a braced formation, but they are going to get charged kind of from the back. But since they're in a braced formation, I'm going to let them eat this charge, and then I intercept one of his Aspis cav here with my African Elephant. And my African Elephants ought to do pretty well in this fight against the Aspis. And here, my infantry is just going to take his charges. You can see he's going to get some kills on this Galatian Royal Guard, but not a lot. And now this fight's going to start to actually turn against him. Plus, I can reinforce. I haven't engaged his infantry forces on this side because my opponent went into a square formation with his hoplites, which means he intends to be static. So I'm only going to attack him where I want and when I want, which right now is on this side. And if he breaks formation, I'll hit him. But if not, I can focus my attention on his cav. So my opponent's problem here is he's allowing me to single him out. Now over here, my elephants do take some damage, But an elephant for an Aspis Cav is a decent charge, or a decent trade. These guys were 770 talents, and I think the Aspis Cav is like 900 something. So a fair trade for me. Charged it in my Ptolemaic Cav 2 to help finish them off so that I could save my elephants from complete destruction, and it works out great. These Aspis Cav are getting beat up relatively quick, and I'm starting to break his infantry. Squares are very defensive, but Galatian Royal Guard and these armor-piercing axe attack guys are going to break these hoplites. There's just too many of my guys. They're surrounded, and the penalties from being surrounded are severe. And his pikemen are in too wide of a formation to be effective. They're only 2 ranks deep, which means they really can't hold back a unit like Galatian Royal Guard. And you can see that he had a pikeman here that got overwhelmed in a similar fashion. So at this point, my elephants are on their way to join the fight with these Aspis Cav. And then watch what I do with this Ptolemaic Cav. I see a small opening here to the back of his pikemen. I don't usually use diamond formation, but I see that I can sneak through this opening as long as I'm in a compact formation. So I'm kind of determining right now that I need to take advantage of that. So I'm starting to wrap up this hoplite and starting to wrap up this fight here. So it's looking pretty good for me at this point. I have Cav right here as well that came from winning against his Thessalian and companions. And now I've got a lot of infantry free from here. So if you watch my orders, I order 1 unit of Galatian Royal Guard up here to get this pike from this direction. And then here in a moment, I'm going to order this Cav, like I said, into diamond formation. And I'm going to hit these guys from 2 directions at once to quickly remove this pike threat. And part of the reason this is going to be so easy for me is because my opponent is in too loose of a formation. After this fight, I will kind of show you some better ways to put your pikes in formation. So even though it's an uphill charge, my diamond formation gets a good hit, and then at the same time I've got Galatian Royal Guard coming straight way. So now these guys are turned around after my Cav, but they're going to get hit by Galatian Royal Guard in the back. He uses steady, which is going to help out a little bit, but these guys are doomed, and doomed fast. Again, these hoplites are now being attacked by Carrion Axemen here too. And you might be saying, Eric, Carrion Axemen are absolute bullcrap. Well, they are bullcrap. They only cost 400 talents, so they make a great support unit for the flank. And then check out these elephants charging and wanting to get some more of this action. Those guys rout, and so I was like, well, I'll take some of this action up here. My elephants have done a great job in this battle as well. Elephants are stronger now than when the game released. They're not overpowered like a lot of people think they are, but they are strong, and they have to be dealt with properly, and especially the Indian war elephants. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this Egypt versus Macedon action. Hopefully you're learning a little bit. I'm still definitely in a learning phase too. I want to show you all something before I go though. I just told you about pike formations. So let's go look at some pike formations in a custom battle real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set myself as the attacker, or as the defender, sorry. And then the computer's going to be the attacker. I'm going to give the computer some good sword units here, Oathsworns. So let's cut this, and I'm going to give the computer quite a few Oathsworn. So these are tough sword units. And then I'm going to go with a cheap pike unit from Carthage, which is the African pikeman. I have to bring a general's bodyguard, so I know. African pikes, not even up to par with silver shields, or they're about the same as, they're maybe the same or a little better than bronze shields. Not near as good as Hellenic Royal Guard or foot companions. So relatively cost-effective pikemen here. They're definitely better than like Spartan pikemen, and they're also better than like just regular pikemen from Macedon or the other factions, but you get my drift. Medium pikemen. You'll notice their original formation is right here, which is about, 8 ranks deep, which is a pretty good formation. So a lot of people you see online love pike formations like this. They're going to stretch them out and be like, yeah, check me out, man. I got this wide pike formation, and it's going to be really hard for you to outflank it. Well, the problem is, let's say that I have a unit in a blockier formation, like I say a unit of swords, and let's say this pike unit represents an enemy unit of swords in this formation. If I have high armor and high attack, and I attack this pike unit right here, how many guys in this pike unit are actually going to be fighting against my men? You'll see that the cutoff is somewhere right around here. I actually saw Gamer Dudester make a video like this recently too, and it was fun to watch his video because he was like right along the same train of thought as me. He actually illustrates it really well in his video. I may send you the link to that video too. I'll try and remember to look it up. Anyway, only like a third of this pike faction would actually be fighting my guys if they came up here and charged. Plus, they only have, right here, only 1 pike facing forward, and right here 2 pikes facing forward. Whereas if I put these guys in Pike phalanx, which I'm going to have to start the battle to actually show it to you. But as you see, look how many more pikes these guys have pointed forward. And imagine, you know, again, if this were a sword unit. So permit me to demonstrate. We're going to put my guys back into about the same formation that they started off as, which is a thicker formation. Let's throw all my guys into Pike phalanx. So let me get all my guys repositioned. We'll go into fast forward, and I'm going to show you how much more effective it is to be in this formation. And not only that, it's maneuvering. So part of the problems with pikes is that they don't like to turn a lot in the middle of a fight, and they don't like to follow move orders, especially if they're spread out really wide. And let's take it one step further. I'll make this group even blockier, just for fun here. We'll take 2 groups and make them even blockier. Very deep formations here. Okay, so here come the Arverni. Their units are far and away superior to mine as far as like pound for pound melee capability. These guys don't even have their pikes down, it doesn't look like. That's kind of weird. There they go. Alright, so let's get some attack orders in this dense formation, and let's watch how much easier it is for me to turn and to fight. Now pikes are still being patched. They still need quite a bit of work. But if you put them in this formation, you're far more likely to see good results from them. And you may be worried like, oh, they're going to go around my flanks. Yeah, they may overlap you a little bit, but you're still better off to be in this deep formation. So see how my guys can easily push this swordsman back? And look how much faster they're going to kill it than if I was in a wide formation. Again, here, look at the way they're killing this sword unit because they're in this dense formation. Now, granted, the computer's stupid, and it's not really spreading out right. But, I mean, come on. You can see the results here. These Oathsworn don't have a chance. Now, and look, these guys are trying to outflank me. Look how much easier it is for me to maneuver now that I'm in a blockier formation. It doesn't take longer for them to turn around in the big wide formation. So perfect illustrations here. Look, AI's trying to outmaneuver me. It's just easier for me to maneuver in this blocky formation, and I can turn and put pikes in these guys' face. And so look at this, just absolutely slaying these Oathsworn. Even when I'm in a really tight formation. Look, they overlap these guys, and I'm starting to pay a price for it, but this pikeman's already racked up 43 kills against Oathsworn. And when you look at the cost effectiveness, that's fantastic. The Oathsworn are killing me at a slower rate than I'm killing them, and I'm outflanked. And so see, again, the dense formation allows my guys to get in here and actually start doing more damage. Pikes are very hesitant to push into a fight, and if you're clicking attack orders, it's just easier to get them to push in when they're in these tighter formations. So look, I've already pushed these guys back off of that flank. You do have to babysit pikes quite a bit, so that's something to be aware of. Let's keep my guys moving in here. There we go. Again, imagine if I was spread out, like big time spread out. It would be even harder for me to make this maneuver. And look, this whole time I haven't even used steady. So let's use the steady. Look, easily winning the fight out here. Easily winning the fight here in the center. And these guys fought off 2 Oathsworn, I think. Easily winning the fight here on this flank, even though I'm outflanked. They'll eventually kill this pike unit, but look at the damage done. 50, almost 50 Oathsworn, or almost 70 Oathsworn killed there. And now I'm killing these Oathsworn here as well. My guys have lost their pike formation for some reason. Again, pikes aren't perfect, but this blocky formation is definitely going to be to your benefit.
The men are wavering.
So, just there you go. A little bit of food for thought. Pikes in general, though, still a little buggy. Be careful of them. But again, look at the cost effectiveness here. This expensive Oathsworn unit fighting toe-to-toe with a much cheaper pike unit. So this just gives you an idea of, and again, I'm not even trying to micro and keep these pikes off my flank. I'm just, you know, showing you the formations here. So I think you all get the drift of what's possible. And look, my guy's winning the fight here. Even though they had Oathsworn on their flank right here. See those guys getting around? They are chopping my men down, but winning the fight. A big piece of it has to do with how many pikes I can present out here. And then the number of pikes multiplies, of course, and gives me more attacking force against these Oathsworn. I can keep them at a distance better. So we're doing quite well at the moment, all things considered. Especially when you consider how much how many talents I spent on my army versus what was spent on the Oathsworn army.
This is a shameful display.
Yep, look at this. Chopping down these Oathsworn at a pretty rapid pace. These guys are not easy to kill. Some of my pikes, though, starting to lose now. But again, remember the cost difference between these armies. You're talking like a 900 and something talent unit in the Oathsworn versus this pike. Now, the Oathsworn is going to be much more maneuverable, and you're not going to have stupid glitches like this where my pikes won't turn around. So this is something, again, that you have to be aware of with pikes. My guys have lost their formation here, and they're going to get killed. So I'm not saying pikes are great, but if you are using them, use them in the formation, I'm telling you here. Because if you have them in the big wide formations, it's going to be even harder to accomplish what it is that I'm doing here.
The men are wavering.
Yeah, I can't get those guys to go back into pike formation. Oh, whoops. I took them out of pike formation. Yeah, well, I probably just screwed myself over. But in any case, I think you all get the idea. Again, this was a much cheaper army holding itself out against a very superior army otherwise what would be a very superior army. So pike formations, keep it dense, and it should help you out. You do want to try and keep them off your flanks, but just remember that, again, that dense formation can be a huge benefit to you. Look, these Oathsworn did beat my guys, but are about to rout themselves. I still might win this, even with all the screw-ups that I've made. This just kind of gives you an idea, like I said, cost-effective-wise, how you can theoretically use pikes and end up being quite cost-effective. It's not necessarily super easy, though. Yep, look at that, sure enough. If I can just get these guys back into phalanx. Yep, check it out, I'm going to win. Even with all the mistakes, even with them getting around my flanks. It's kind of funny. But like I said, there's you a little bit of lessons around pikes. Again, this was against the AI, so not necessarily conclusive testing, but it shows you that it is a little easier to maneuver your pikes when they're blocky formation, and you can see that their attack is going to be better. So I'll do some more testing on that when I get a chance. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing off for now.